Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Wake up, coming from Cyprus to Menacor. We are entering into a new era where we never have to sell our XRP. So introducing MXRP. This is a liquid staked yield-bearing XRP. 4 key boxes on the slide, and what he's showing us are these screen grabs here from XRP Sol 2025. As you guys can see, there are some slides here. So the infinite money glitch, MXRP becomes a perpetual buyer of XRP. Here what we'll see is structural demand, okay? Minting MXRP drives XRP demand via advanced strategies and auto compounding. And so we'll see ecosystem strength. Positive feedback loops will strengthen XRP and the XRP ledger. We will see deeper liquidity for XRP. So MXRP usage will turn into deeper XRP liquidity. More DeFi integration success attracts more protocols and capital into the XRP ledger, and capital network effects, essentially integration brings new capital to the XRP ledger. So this is the theory. This is the idea behind it. It is now available on the XRPL EVM, a liquid staked yield-bearing XRP token built on advanced DeFi infrastructure. So, a lot of people are interested in perhaps locking away their XRP, not selling it too low, and locking it away and maybe gaining yield from it. At the event, Gregorios Vlachos, co-founder of Excella Network, unveiled XRPL's first liquid staking token, the MXRP. He said MXRP provides an annual return of about 10%. So that is the claim there, at least. I mean, I'm not promoting this. I'm not saying this is what you're going to get. This is definitely not a paid promotion, just something that I noticed on my timeline. Tokenization platform Midas will design the product structure for this project. The Korean digital asset management company Hyperism will manage the deposited assets. When a user entrusts XRP, MXRP is issued, and Hyperism manages it on their behalf, and a portion of the profits are returned to the user as interest. The profits generated through management are reflected in the value of MXRP, and the target annual return is up to 10%. So that's what he's saying. Return of around 10%, now it's up to 10%. Okay, we need to know exactly what we're getting here, but I guess that does fluctuate a little. If no profit is made or a loss occurs, Hyperism and Excel will be responsible. Users can generate additional profits by managing MXRP and other DeFi. And Kieran Wallet, okay, an XRPL wallet service plans to launch an XRPL-based real-life payment platform by the end of the year. Lee Tan, CEO of Kieran Labs, the operator of Kieran Wallet, emphasized, when users store XRP in Kieran Wallet, they can use it for everyday payments by linking it to a prepaid card. We will develop XRPL into a blockchain closely related to daily life by linking various financial functions such as deposit products and asset tokenization services. So, guys, this is where we're going to see, more types of, more ways to make payments, whether it's, stablecoin linking it to a prepaid MasterCard, or if you use your XRP, or even better, if you can yield a lot of money from your XRP, a lot of value from your XRP, and then that value gets directed onto a prepaid MasterCard. Well, guys, these are ways that, people are going to think of, outside of the box ways to start paying for goods and services in the real world. So this is interesting. They're targeting 8% sustainable rate, okay, variable denominated in XRP. And again, this is an idea. I know for some of you guys, this might be a very lucrative opportunity. Thinking of it as, okay, I've got all this XRP. If I can just lock it away, if I'm not hitting my targets. Remember, guys, we have to be reasonable when it comes to cashing out of your crypto. And if you're expecting maybe 3 digits by this particular bull run, I mean, it could still happen depending on if we do see real world utility getting tacked on. I like to say tacked on because, liquidity is what's necessary, right? When we see high volumes, this is what is necessary for real world utility to really function at scale. And, when we're seeing low volumes, this is why we don't see real world utility quite yet. We do need these high volumes in order for, cryptocurrencies like XRP to really function. So if we do see a bull run where the real world utility does get tacked on, it's going to be because we do see a lot of sustained, and that is important to know too, sustained liquidity in the space. For more information on where I think the market's going to go personally, you can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. I'm treating it in the moment. I'm going to be likely cashing out of a portion of my XRP because I do still believe that we are in a 4-year cycle, at least as of now. That could change. That philosophy, of course, could change at any moment. So patreon.com/workingmoneychannel for my up-to-date reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. It is only $5 a month, but only for a limited time. You got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that $5 subscription price. Anyway, wanted to thank Cyprus to Menacor for posting that. Now, James Roll XRP, guys, bringing this to our attention. He says probably nothing. in that facetious way. DC FinTech Week here coming out with their list of sponsors. So co-hosts, we got the big guys, AWS, Amazon AWS Services, Visa, and the FinTech Foundation. Now we've got platinum sponsors, of course. Banks like Citibank are part of this platinum sponsorship here at DC FinTech Week, along with Ripple Chainlink, Ondo Finance, which is a Ripple company. We've got big players like Robinhood, Circle, and some others here. And then the gold sponsors include Block, Solana Policy Institute, FTI Consulting, PayPal, and a couple of others there. So, guys, Ripple on the docket here as a platinum sponsor here at DC FinTech Week. Great news. Wanted to thank James Rule, XRP, just for pointing that out. Did you guys see this? King Valix here posting this. This is going to be you without a decentralized cold wallet. So the headline is Vietnam erases 86 million bank accounts for non-compliant citizens who refuse digital ID. So this is the dystopic side of this. I mean, we're all happy we hold the cryptocurrency that is going to change the financial framework of the world. But the other part of this is that, guys, the control mechanism, the great reset idea of, the powers that be wanting to have as much control over us as possible. Well, this is apparently what's happening in Vietnam. Apparently, they've begun a sweeping crackdown on bank accounts that fail to comply with their new mandatory facial biometric identification system, sparking debate over financial inclusion and whether cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin offer a viable alternative for affected users. As of September 1st, banks across Vietnam are closing accounts deemed inactive or non-compliant with the new biometric rules. Authorities estimate that more than 86 million accounts out of roughly 200 million are at risk. So that is a huge percent. That is 86 divided by 200. That's 43%. 43% are in default or at risk of being at risk of being, I guess, disconnected. Facial authentication is mandatory for online transfers above 10 million VND, which is about $379 US. And cumulative daily transfers of over 20 million, which is about $758, also require biometric approval. So this is a government, mandate here to make sure everybody uses their biometric authentication in order to have a bank account. And so, what King Valix is saying, guys, we have to have other options, decentralized cold wallets. This is a big option. This is, something that has been very important in the crypto community for a very long time. How have we been custodying our crypto? Cold wallet storage solution is obviously the most secure way. I do have an affiliate link. I personally use the Ledger Nano. I have an affiliate link in the description of every video I do. I've been using the Ledger Nano since 2017. I think it's a great product. Personally, I've never had any problems with it. You can use my affiliate. You don't have to use it. It is always greatly appreciated, though, when people do click on that affiliate link. The important thing is, guys, keeping your crypto safe because, as we're seeing the landscape change, crypto is becoming a more important part of our lives, as we're seeing, new products coming out like MXRP as per Cypress Domenicore here. We're going to start to see crypto and crypto products play a way more important role in our lives, even more so than just, buy low, sell high, that kind of thing, using them as a trading mechanism. What I'm talking about is a real transformation. So wanted to thank King Valix for that. And, speaking of that real transformation, I think this is a good example of that. Paul Barron retweeted out Jack the Rippler's tweet. Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in square holes. Great analogy there. The ones who see things differently, they're not often fond of rules. They have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify. But about the only thing you can't do is ignore them. This is a clip of Brian Armstrong explaining what Coinbase plans on doing and how they plan on challenging the banking system. Listen to this.
What I try to think about from a Coinbase point of view to make sure that we're continuing to lead is that we're storing more crypto than any other company out there. And customers trust us with their crypto. And when they're storing crypto with us, they're more likely to use our products, whether that's trading or payments or earning, staking rewards on their assets. So as crypto continues to eat the financial system, hopefully we can provide more and more of those products. And ultimately, we want to be a bank replacement for people. We want to be their primary financial account. And we can offer better financial service products across the board, not just on trading, but even things like giving you a credit card that pays 4% rewards in Bitcoin, which we just launched recently.
Would you say that you have an ambition to become a super app and as you just said, replace the legacy banks?
Yes, we do want to become a super app and provide all types of financial services. We want to become people's primary financial account. And I think that crypto has a right to do that. These are just more modern, efficient rails. It makes every payment in the economy fast and cheap. It kind of boggles my mind, like, why are we paying 2 to 3% every time we swipe our credit card, or the merchant is? But whether the merchant pays it or it just means the price is higher when you pay it. And so either way, like, people are paying these fees. It should not cost 2 to 3% every time you swipe your credit card. It's just some bits of data flowing over the internet. It should be free or close to it. And so that's just one example of many things that crypto can do to update the financial system, and we're going to keep pushing on that frontier.
So the idea is to keep pushing, and for cryptocurrency innovation to keep taking hold. I mean, it's doing it on its own. It's happening organically, but at the end of the day, you need innovators like Brian Armstrong to do just this. Ripple is another great example of where we're seeing crypto adoption occurring in the traditional financial system. And as you heard here from Brian Armstrong, yes, they have ambitions of being a super app, that meaning being Coinbase, and so that you don't have to have more than a one-stop shop. You can go to Coinbase for all your financial needs. So think about that for a second. You take the banks out of the picture, and now you're going to Coinbase for all your financial needs. So, certain cryptocurrencies are going to do the job, XRP, of course, being one of them, which brings me to this Crypto Marine here, bringing this up. Okay, happy Sunday. Beyond Broke said, the reason you haven't seen BlackRock come out with their XRP ETF yet is because the case is still lingering. Now, I don't know if that is necessarily it. We still haven't seen this, though, and so what could other reasons be? After Bitcoin and Ethereum, spot ETF applications were made for many altcoins such as XRP and Solana, and while giants like Grayscale and ProShares are in a fierce race for altcoin ETFs, BlackRock, the largest asset management firm in the US, is not making any moves, or at least they aren't making us aware that they're making moves. Well, BlackRock is expected to file an ETF application for major altcoins like XRP and Solana. The giant company keeps the doors closed to XRP and altcoin ETFs. Well, some names indicate that BlackRock will eventually apply for an altcoin ETF. Analysts speaking to CoinDesk stated that the probability of BlackRock is low for an XRP ETF. And so, guys, here are 5 reasons accordingly. These are the reasons listed. Insufficient customer demand for crypto assets other than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, I can't buy that because the XRP ETF from Rex Osprey, that just came out of the gates, guns a-blazing. Regulatory uncertainty surrounding XRP and other altcoins. Okay, maybe some other altcoins, certainly not XRP. We have the conclusion to the lawsuit. Market saturation due to multiple competing applications. I mean, we are noticing that there are a lot of applications now being filed, but BlackRock is a biggie. Are they going to just step back just because there's too many? I don't think so. They can take over the market. The difference between rising price expectations and internal data. Okay, so maybe there's some internal data there that we don't know about, so that's a possibility. The majority of XRP trading volume is concentrated in Asia. That's another good point there. We are slowly starting to build XRP volume, I think, in the West, especially in the United States. It was difficult after the SEC lawsuit because, don't forget, if I bring up the XRP chart here, I'm just going to bring up the Bitstamp chart because we got more history on that. Remember, a lot of exchanges delisted XRP in and around here, and this is part of the reason why XRP only got to $1.96, and a lot of this volume was occurring in Asia because American crypto companies did not want to, or American crypto exchanges in particular did not want to list XRP at that point in time. But guys, things have changed today. We do right now have 7 asset management firms, including ProShares, Grayscale, and Franklin Templeton. They have all applied for an XRP ETF, and I do think things are really going to change. Bill Morgan here also commenting the case is not lingering. Some FUD tends to linger like a bad smell. Exactly. Case is over, guys, and we are going to see XRP adoption in a meaningful way. And so maybe it's just that BlackRock wants to start to see XRP scale in a real world financial setting. Well, guys, Christine Lagarde just came out and said this. She's the president of the ECB. This courtesy of All In Crypto. She says the ECB will use a digital euro and its electronic wallet to create a new type of finance. She stated Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and Alipay are all controlled by American or Chinese companies, and so we should make sure there is a European offer. Here's what Christine Lagarde had to say at an interview with News Talk. Listen to this.
March towards independence.
What does that independence mean?
Okay, what I mean by that is we should not be exclusively focused on what is happening on the other side of the pond. And we should focus on the strength that we have at home and how we can regain a degree of independence that we don't have. And that applies to defense, it applies to trade, of course. It applies to finance. And from my perspective, it applies to the way money moves around Europe. So by that, I mean capital markets, which are completely scattered all over Europe and which have to be better organized, more consolidated, converging, and possibly singly supervised. That's one thing. The second thing, which I think is really important for all of us, is to have digital payment under our control. When you think of it at the moment, a lot of our digital payment, when you pay, when you e-commerce or peer-to-peers or you use your card or your phone, you always rely on non-European infrastructure. So I think the controlling
Explain
our
that to
digital
me,
payment.
because I wasn't aware of this. I presumed we were all...
Whether you use a card or whether you use a phone, typically it goes through Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Alipay. Where are all those coming from? Well, either the US or China. And the whole sort of infrastructure mechanism that allows for the payment, credit and debit, is not
I'm
a European
concerned
solution.
about this. I didn't realize this because it means that every time I use my credit card or use my phone, that information about me is leaving the European Union and going to the United States. I thought that was not permitted.
I'm sure they do that, in compliance with European regulations. But yes, that is the point. And we have the assets, we have the opportunities to do that. Think for a second. If we were to remove the internal barriers that we have set for ourselves in Europe, our economic wealth would increase significantly.
Yeah, so why don't you get a move on that? Interesting that she mentions Visa and MasterCard. These are two companies that are already connected to Ripple, and we do know that the ECB does already have a connection to Ripple, guys. The ECB, or the European Central Bank, has identified the XRP ledger as a key technology for its wholesale DLT sandbox, particularly in trials by fintech Axiology for bond lifecycle management. And Ripple and the XRP ledger have been involved in testing phases for the ECB's digital euro project, with potential for XRP to act as the bridge currency for cross-border transactions and potentially play a role in the future of the digital currencies. So, when Christine Lagarde is saying this kind of thing, we got to keep it European and we got to, not worry about what they're doing across the pond. It's kind of, I think it's a bit of double speak there. I don't know if you guys saw the video I did on the RLEUR, Ripple's next stablecoin offering that is likely coming to pass. I'll see if I can find it, and I will link that video up here in the top right-hand corner. Just to give you guys a sense of what I mean here, if you go to RLEUR.com, okay, I'm just going to type that in there. Boom, it goes directly to Ripple's website. So they are already working on a stablecoin version like the RLUSD, but a euro version of that. So this is exactly what we're seeing here. The ECB's role, DLT sandbox, we talked a little bit about that. The digital euro project, could it be the RLEUR? Focus on efficiency. The ECB is focused on developing faster and cheaper cross-border transactions, a core strength of Ripple technology. And then we have the proof, right? The proof is in the partnerships, Axiology. We talked a little bit about them. Private ledger technology. Ripple's private ledger technology is being tested within the digital euro project, though it operates within a closed network. Potential bridge currency, of course, we have murmurings, or XRP would be central for a lot of these types of payments. I don't think that is a secret there. And the regulatory stance, XRP is now a regulatory approved cryptocurrency in many jurisdictions around the world. And in the United States specifically, that is what's going to be most important, I think, for a lot of this to take shape. So when we look at it, guys, Europe's enterprise DLT push has entered a new phase. This courtesy of Tokenizer. Ever since the MiCA regulations dropped, the fog around what's allowed and what's coming has shifted. So guys, there's no more when regulation. It's going to be that a lot of this is going to come to pass very quickly. He mentions cryptocurrencies like Quant, XLM, XRP, and HBAR. It's no surprise to see these names, which dominate fintech and standardization in DLT trending. And we're getting past the proof of concept phase. These are now live. A lot of these are going to be going live. These two DLT projects, or two DLTs being selected for stablecoin infrastructure, is no coincidence. We got Stellar and Algorand. So giving a few examples here of some of the cryptocurrencies that are going to play a large role in this. They aren't focused on tokenizing real-world value here. They're focused on data, reputation, trust registries, and verified ID. So there's going to be a lot of different types of cryptocurrencies that do or perform different tasks. So guys, we have stablecoin rails. Okay, they're being built. Banks getting licensed to issue them. National banks experimenting with DLT settlement. Public-private sandbox tests being launched, and trust registries and identity standards going live. And so here is the European Commission. As you guys can see, Quant, Algorand, Hedera, Ledger Agnostic Trust, Checked, IOTA, Ondo, Stellar, and Ripple's XRP, of course. Very important for this new financial structure in Europe. So Christine Lagarde, of course, the head of the ECB, explaining, we're keeping it European, but Is it really going to be European? I mean, all these companies already have connections to Ripple. The ECB has gone on the record saying they are interested in the XRP ledger. I think they're on their way. I mean, the rest of the world is already really interested in getting onto the XRP standard. But that's just my opinion, and for more opinions on how I think this market's going to roll, follow me at patreon.com/Working Money Channel for my insight. Guys, the Working Money Channel merch store is also up if you're interested in purchasing some Working Money Channel merch. I put the link in every video description so you guys can find it there. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.